Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are taking a look at the Tier 9 Russian cruiser, the Dmitri Donskoi, and she is a little bit different from the Chapayev, the Stors, or the Bajani by far. She's a little bit more aggressive, I would have to say. Her shells are a little bit bigger, so her AP will do slightly more damage than the Chapayev could. But you still have that long range sniping with HE, which can set fires, which is always fantastic. But let's go ahead and look at the survivability. Starting off, you get 40,200 hit points, and the armor's alright. You still don't want to show off that broadside. The Citadel sits quite a bit above the water, so you don't want to turn when a battleship is looking at you the wrong way. Artillery, you have 4 main guns. They're 180 millimeters, so the Russian cruisers kind of get this odd shell size that no other cruisers get. Usually they jump from 152 millimeters to 203s. The Russian go from 180, I think, to 210, I believe is what the Moskva gets. Reload time on the guns is 12.5 seconds. They're a little bit slower than the Chapayev by far. It was around 7 or 8 seconds. Turn time on the guns are decent, 20.7 seconds. Max dispersion is 134 meters. Max HE damage is 2,500 with a 18% fire chance. AP shells max damage is 4,400, which is fantastic because they are fairly well tight. And velocity on the shells are 920 meters per second with a range of 16.2 kilometers. You do get some secondaries. They're nothing really impressive. They are 6 dual 100 millimeters with a reload time of 3.8 seconds, firing HE with a 1,400 points of damage with a 7% fire chance, and I have a range of 5.3 kilometers. Now, the Dmitri Donskoi does have torpedoes, and they are decent torpedoes. A little slow, but they're decent. You get 2, 1 on each side. Reload time is 117 seconds, and you do get 5 torpedoes for each side, so a total of 10. Max damage is 14,400 with a range of 8 kilometers. And they're not bad. I've had quite a few times, as you will see, kills with my torpedoes. Always use them. They're definitely an improvement over the 4 kilometers in the Chapayev and earlier ships. Now, the AA is alright. It's nothing that impressive. You get better AA when you get the additional B and C hull. So, they're not bad. You have 8 dual 25 millimeters with 3.1 kilometer range. 12 dual 37 millimeters with a 3.5 kilometer range. And your secondaries act as additional AA with a 5 kilometer range. Not bad. Maneuverability, she is fast. 36 knots, impressive speed for a cruiser. Turning circle radius is 760 meters with a rudder shift time of 11.8 seconds. Definitely want to bring that down because you want to be a little bit more agile as best you can, even though you have a huge turning circle radius. So concealment, you have a detectability range by sea is 12.3 kilometers. It's probably one of the worst tier 9s. The Buki gets down around 9.7 kilometers. The Rune gets down to 11.1, and I'm trying to think what the Baltimore is, but I think it's a little bit more stealthy than the Dmitri Donskoi. The Dmitri Donskoi, she's kind of a big ship. She sits kind of high up in the water. As you can see, all this additional superstructure is well above the water and easy to hit. So you do have to be a little bit careful, and I am running a pretty much concealment build on my Dmitri Donskoi. After you fire, you're detected 17.7 kilometers away. So yeah, it's a tough ship. I'm having kind of a difficult time to actually get used to her. By far, I'm still kind of learning it. The only thing I have not got for the ship is either gunfire control, which increases your range, or the main battery modification, which would be nice because it increases the reload time on your guns, reduces it by 12%, and that would bring it down to 11.3 seconds. So it's a little bit better. I'm probably gonna go for the range. Hopefully the Moskva has better reload time. And so as far as consumables, you do have the health. Uh, Obviously went for the surveillance radar, and I went for defensive AA just to protect yourself, just in case you do have a carrier that decides to go after you. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into a couple replays. I have some couple good games that you might enjoy, so I will see you guys there. Alright, welcome back to the first replay in the Donskoi, and we are currently playing on loop. We have a Yamato, 2 Iowas, North Carolina, Amagi, Donskoi, New Orleans, Hippotago, ARP, Cow, Fletcher, and a Fubuki. On the enemy team, there is a Montana, 2 Iowas, Bismarck, Amagi, Rune, Prince Eugen, 2 Megamis, Fletcher, Benson, and a Fubuki. Now I am joined with both Jay in the Iowa and Brandon in his Fletcher. Now, like I was saying, I'm kind of having a hard time getting accustomed to the ship. There's been quite a few battles where I make pretty much bad choices, and I get punished for that. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful than what I used to do, or what I have been doing, where I've been dying quite frequently. I'm going to try to go around this island and let both the Fletcher and the Fubuki get into A, because I am very aggressive sometimes, and I make myself a target. So I'm going to try to go over around this island and then try to help out my friendlies over at A as soon as we can. And we'll see how this goes. Now, the Donskoi, my first thought was, oh, you need bow in, you can, deflect shots. No, not really. The Moskva does a far superior job. Donskoi is still kind of that in-between period between the Chapayev and the Moskva, so you still have to act like need to be a little bit careful. How about that? Instead of acting, you just need to be a little bit more careful and play a little bit more intelligently. I know I just bashed myself, but that's totally fine. I'm fine with that. So Fletcher, Iowa, 2 Iowas, and a Megami that we can see, and it looks like the entire enemy team is currently going over towards A. We do have a Cyclone in around 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm going to try to help out with the enemy Fletcher. Fired some shots. I don't think I'm going to get lucky. Lost track of him, so that was just kind of random, and there is a enemy Megami showing us a nice little broadside. And your AP, like I said, is pretty good. Don't dismiss it, because it's definitely an improvement over the 152 millimeters. I'm trying to remember what the Chapayev had, but they're definitely a lot better than what they used to be. So there's a Montana kind of pushing forward. This Montana really is being aggressive, as you will see. So we're going to try to set them on fire as best we can. And I'm trying to make my way towards the smoke, because it's smoke, it's beneficial. And this poor New Orleans captain just got citadeled. This is one thing you probably never want to do, is sail completely broadside to a whole bunch of battleships. So as an example, the torpedoes are pretty decent. Fired my spread. We'll see how lucky I am. And there's the Montana showing us a nice broadside. I did switch over to AP, and look at this. Over 11,000 points of damage on that Montana, who is fully broadside to us. So your AP can do substantial amount of damage towards a broadside battleship. So, like I said, do not dismiss your AP. And it probably goes the same with any cruisers, because we're firing 180 millimeters versus 203. So, yeah. But still, the Dmitri Donskoi has fairly fast-paced shells on, or fast-paced velocity on its shells. So we do land a torpedo on that Montana. Not bad. I'm satisfied with that. And as you can see, I'm kind of in a awkward position. Yeah, there's 3 battleships, all on the other side of the island. The Fletcher, Prince Eugen is actually pushing up as well. And this is not a really great place. I really can't pull out. If I do, I'll get citadeled by that enemy Iowa, and there are torpedoes incoming, probably from the Megami. But we should be fine since we've already started backing up. So we're good. We're totally fine. Now I do pop my defensive AA, or AA Madness as we nickname it. Because, well, I don't want to be spotted. But we are currently being spotted by, I believe, radar or sonar. And there's the Iowa pushing in. Fortunately, the sonar just went off. And I am able to get out of there with a very minimal amount of damage. I'm going to try to get away as quick as I can. And there are torpedoes coming in from the friendlies. And let's see if we can punish this rune, showing us the broadside. Trying to stay out of the way from that other Iowa, who is definitely just gonna sit there and try to attack anyone. He's doing the entire bow on situation. Ooh, that Iowa just took pretty massive damage. And we are getting hit by the enemy Iowa, but we should be fine. And this is kind of the issue. The aft end of the ship, the armor back there, is a little thin. Definitely a lot thinner than the bow of the ship, because you're able to deflect shells more regularly with your bow than with your aft end of your ship. So we are not doing really well. As you can see, we don't have A, we don't have B, and we don't have C, and we've lost 3 ships to their 2. And ooh, good thing I dodged right there. And unfortunately, we just lost Brandon and his Fletcher. But fortunately, we're coming back. The friendly Amagi and Yamato just took out both of the Megamis. So that is definitely an improvement. And fire torpedoes. Let's see if we get lucky. Now, this is not a particularly great situation. We are behind in points. Fortunately, we're ahead in as far as ships are concerned. And I'm trying to be a little bit careful just so I don't, you know, get citadeled to death. And I popped my radar trying to see where the enemy ships were. And it looks like there was a Prince Eugen. And not bad. Did about 3,500 points of damage on that Prince Eugen and caused a fire. But at the exact same time, a cyclone does start to come in. And that means everything as far as detection, as far as seeing, is going to be reduced to 8 kilometers, which can be good and bad. You can get a very good positioning if you're smart enough, or lucky enough. Better yet, sometimes it does require luck to actually get into a great position to actually do a decent amount of damage. Now, I am pushing into A, and there's a smoke cloud. So you want to be unpredictable as much as possible, and there are torpedoes. So I'm going to try going around on the other side. Now, we do know there is a Fletcher and a Iowa sitting back there in the smoke. And unfortunately, we get spotted by a airplane, but I don't think that should be a big deal. Now, the friendly Hipper is going to try to rush in there as well. And can he actually do any damage? Can he take out the Fletcher? The Fletcher is probably the big concern that we have. And taking a look at the rune, I'm going to try my luck. I was kind of hoping he would actually turn more broadside, but he does not. Oh well. So the friendly Yamato does take out the Fletcher. Pretty good job, I will have to say. And the Iowa was spotted just for a little bit because the Hipper was super close to him. And unfortunately, we do lose sight, and I do pop my torpedoes. And this is probably a bad situation, because you can see J is currently actually moving just to the right of the Iowa, and my torpedoes are coming in towards that Iowa. Now, fortunately, the torpedoes should be able to get hit on the hull of the dead Iowa. And of course, we have another Iowa coming in at us. You can see how quickly your health will deplete if you are broadside. Obviously, you're a cruiser. It's no surprise there. And 12 shots hit and all bounces. But look at this. Torpedoes incoming. 2 torpedoes and 1 dead Iowa. Not bad. I'm sitting at my very first kill of the game, but we did about 70,000 points of damage. I'm very satisfied with that. Very satisfied. Now, our team has finally had an opportunity to start capturing A. We have yet to actually fully acquired a cap until now. Finally, we're able to capture A, and I'm going to be moving towards B as quick as I can, because I'm pretty certain a Moggy, Iowa, and a Yamato can take care of the Hipper and a Moggy that are currently down south. Now, the Bismarck on the enemy team is currently all the way up north, and he's currently fighting. I'm trying to think, who is he currently fighting? He's currently fighting a North Carolina. Ooh. I want to say poor guy, but North Carolina can do pretty good damage against a Bismarck if the right opportunity does present itself. Now, we do lose J due to the rune flooding him to death. And so I'm pretty much left on the team. So I'm going to try to move over to B as quick as I can. And we are spotted, but there's a cyclone. So that must mean the enemy Fubuki is still around. He has to be close. And guess what the Dmitri Donskoi has? It has radar. And there he is. And more than likely he has fire torpedoes. Now the Fubuki has 3 spreads. But this is a little bit odd. We do take out the Fubuki. And more than likely, like I said, he's probably fired torpedoes. So I do start to slow up and turn in. And there they are. Now that was only 2 spreads. So I'm not quite certain if he had fired the 3rd, or if he was just holding off until a more opportune moment does arise. So at this point, I'm just gonna be a little bit careful, because I don't know if he has fired that 3rd spread. He could have easily fired it at the last possible moment. Never know, but I think we're pretty good at this point. Now, our friendly North Carolina just went down to the enemy Bismarck all the way up north. And I think our friendlies down south should be able to take care of the Amagi. Now, at this point, if I was the enemy Bismarck, that's all the way up north, and I knew that the Yamato, the Amagi, and at least a couple of the cruisers were around A, what would you do? If I was in this situation where I knew 2 battleships were down towards A, and there is at least someone capping C and someone capping B, and he is north center of the map. If I was him, I would actually be moving towards C. That would make the most logical sense. That would be the less path of least resistance. You don't have to deal with the Yamato, because the Yamato has pretty good guns, I will have to say. So, yeah, that's probably what I would do. But, well, we'll see. So, C is captured, A is captured, and B is about captured. So we should be able to win this. We still have about 6 minutes, about 40 seconds left. And let's see, what can we do? All that's left is the Bismarck. Now, I'm going to start moving towards C, because if I was the Bismarck, that's what I would do. So I'm going to start moving towards that direction, because that makes the most logical sense to me. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Now, the Donskoi, I like it. Don't get me wrong. It is kind of a bizarre looking ship, I will have to say. It's not ugly. It's just a little bit different from what the Chapayev and the previous ships were. And it's interesting. Now, the cyclone does start to pass, which means our detection and our range is going to be increased, most definitely. And let's see, where's the Bismarck? Oh, he's all the way at A. You know, for once, I was trying to think, what would I do if I was at Bismarck? And humans are very random creatures to an extent. So he decides to move towards A, and well, can you guess what's gonna happen? Because we do have the friendly Yamato, who's actually fairly close to the enemy Bismarck, as well as the Magi and the Takao that's currently firing on him. Yeah, I don't really see this Bismarck lasting very long. Finally come in range. I unfortunately had AP loaded. I would rather have gotten the fire, but let's see. We actually land a hit. Unfortunately, the shell does break. And don't always trust the UI saying that you can't hit it because of the mountain. Because watch this. Everyone saw that the mountain was in our way, and we get a fire. 2 fires, in fact. Alrighty, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.